Hey guys, what's up? It's Azenzio back here today for another video, and today I'm doing a deck profile on Cardfight area. So if you don't know what Cardfight area is, it's an application you can download on your computer to play Vanguard online basically, and if anyone in the world, it's a worldwide application. It's pretty much the best option you have besides Cardfight Online, which recently got cancelled. RIP Cardfight Online 2017. So I'll be doing a deck profile here because I do not have the deck physically, but I thought I'd like to share it with you guys anyway. So basically today I'll be doing Luard Diablo. It's a up and coming deck. I've seen it topping quite a lot in Japan recently, so I guess I'll just do a deck profile for you guys, and I thought this deck runs pretty interestingly. So let's start from the bottom, shall we? As you can see, Cardfight area, not Cardfight Online, is a pretty good application. You can make any deck you want with any cards in the database. It gets updated pretty often. So yeah guys, let's get straight to the deck profile. Alright, so the starter, I'm running Drag Prince Root. Drag Prince Root's ability is Generation Break 1. Counterblast 1 and put this unit into your soul. When this unit is retired from rearguard for the cost or effect of your card, you may pay the cost. If you do pay the cost, choose one of your units and it gets plus 5,000 until end of turn. Plus 5k is no small deal. It always helps. And the fact that you can choose any unit on your field to gain 5k is really good. And for the trigger lineup, I'm running 8 crits. 4 of the crits is Belial Owl, Generation Break 1 from the drop zone, Ritual Tree. And if you don't know what Ritual is, Ritual basically is for every Grade 1 card in your drop zone. So basically, if you have 3 Grade 1 cards in your drop zone, Ritual Tree will activate. Belial Owl's skill is from the drop zone, Generation Break 1, Ritual Tree. At the end of your turn, if you have a Vanguard with Luard in its card name, you may put this card on the bottom of your deck. So the reason why this card is so good is because of its second ability. When it's retired from rearguard for the cost or effect of your unit, if you have a Vanguard with Luard in its card name, draw a card. So basically, once you activate this ability, you draw a card, and then he's put into the drop zone because he's retired. You activate his first ability using Ritual Tree, and then you return into the deck. So it's a recyclable crit, and that's freaking amazing. It's a free draw, and then you just return into the deck. It's really what Luard needed. Next, I play 1 copy of a stand. So basically, it's another recyclable trigger. That's why you only run 1. But his ability is when he's put into the drop zone from R for the cost of your unit's ability, return this card to your deck and shuffle your deck. So really good. Instead of him ending up in the drop zone permanently, you just return him to the deck. Also, his first ability is Generation Break 1. When you are retiring your rearguards for the cost of your unit's ability, retiring this unit may be regarded as retiring 2 rearguards. So for example, if your Vanguard's ability requires you to retire 2 cards in order to like maybe restand or gain power, you can retire him instead. Instead of having to retire 2 actual rearguards, you just retire him because he's counted as 2 rearguards when retiring. For the last trigger, we play 3 copies of Howl Owl. So Howl Owl is really important because he helps you fill your soul. For a lot of the strides in this deck actually requires soul. So yep, and his ability is put this into your soul, choose one of your units, and he gains plus 3k power until end of turn. It's an act ability, which means it can only be used during your main phase. He is a really good card because, well, he's a Margot clone for Shadow Paladin, and we all know what Margot can do, so definitely gonna run him. Alright, on to the great ones. I play 3 copies of Abyssal Owl. So Abyssal Owl's his first ability is basically like a strike fodder. You place on rearguard, you look at the top 7 cards of your deck, you put a Luard into your hand, and then shuffle your deck, and then you choose cards from your hand equal to grade 3, so that means cards in your hand equivalent to the total grade of 3, and you discard them. So helps you search for Luard, it's pretty good. His second ability is Ritual Tree. When this card is retired from R for the cost or effect of your card with Luard in its card name, counter charge 1. So it's a free counter charge, and that is really good. Also, he is included for the number of rituals. So that means if you have 2 grade 1 cards in your drop zone already, you can actually just use his ability straight away because it's already included for the number of ritual. Alright, so next we have 4 copies of Black Chain Spirit Dance Formation Kaden. So Kaden's ability is when he's placed into the drop zone from R for the cost of your unit's ability. If you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Diablo in its card name, choose up to one of your Vanguards, and until end of turn it gains plus 5000 power, and the ability when this card attacks hits a Vanguard, you can search your deck for a grade 1 card, call it to rear guard. And then if you have a hole on your rear guard, this unit gains plus 5k power. So he's pretty much just used for his first ability, the plus 5k when he is retired. That's really good stackable ability on Spectral Diablo and Phantom Blaster Diablo, basically any stride, and he just adds so much pressure into the Vanguard attack that really just helps with Shadow Paladin a lot. So he was really good for Diablo back then, but now that we're trying to combine him with Luard this time, he really just helps with Luard as well. So yeah, that's why I run him. Next, we run 2 copies of Drag Wizard Knees, as seen from the anime. Ritual 3, when this unit is placed on R from your deck, this unit gains plus 2000 power until end of turn. Really good, 9k base. And then Generation Break 1, counterblast 1, choose one of your rearguards in the same column as this unit and retire it. At the end of the battle that this unit attacked, you may pay the cost. If you do, draw a card. So it's a free draw, and that's amazing. The reason why I only run 2 copies because this isn't really a pure Luard deck, so I would just rather focus on Kaden. But another good option, maybe you would run 3-3. That's really good as well. Next, I run 2 copies of Blackwind Swordbreaker. This card is amazing. Still plus 1 when he's placed on rearguard from the deck. If you have a Shadow Paladin Vanguard, you draw a card. So that's amazing. It's a free draw, and this one is really, a free draw because it's placed from the deck. So you're not like placing anything down from your hand first before you draw. So it's just a really good plus. Makes up for the fact that we only run 3 draw triggers in this deck as well. And then we play 4 Perfect Guards. So this Perfect Guard is called Dragsaber Ezra's. It's really good. We don't have to play the Unflipper in this deck. You can if you want to. However, I feel there's enough counter charges to make up for the Unflipper already, so there's no need to play her. Instead, we have to play this girl. Which Generation Break 1, Ritual 3 from the drop zone. You choose a copy of herself from the drop zone and return it to the deck, and then add her to your hand. So basically, what you have to do is have 2 copies of her in the drop zone first, and then you return one to the deck, you return one of your rearguards, and you add her to your hand. So it's a recyclable Perfect Guard. That is amazing. Basically, as long as you have 2 copies of her in the drop zone, you can get a free Perfect Guard every turn. So that's freaking amazing. Thank you, Bushy Road, for that card. Next, we run 4 copies of Howell. So Howell's skill is when your grade 1 card is placed on rearguard from anywhere. That means from your soul, from your hand, blah blah blah. As long as it's placed on rearguard, he gets 3k, and then your Vanguard gets 3k. If it's a Diablo Vanguard, of course. Then if Kaden was placed, you will get counter charge 1 and a soul charge 1. So Kaden is this card, of course. So they go together. These 2. Basically, if he's on rearguard and he's trying to Spectral Blaster Diablo and Luard was your hard card, you activate Luard's strike skill and call 2 grade 1s from the deck. And then if Howell's on the field, it's an instant plus 6 to himself and the Vanguard. So that's amazing. Obviously you get a lot of retiring off in this deck also, which means you get to call even more, and it just stacks and stacks and stacks, and it's amazing. Of course, the soul charge helps for the strides, and the counter charge helps for any ability that you can use in this deck. It's just really good. Next, we run 4 copies of Drag Wizard Morfessa. This card is another amazing card that Luard got recently in GBT09. Generation Break 1, Ritual 3. When this unit attacks a Vanguard, until end of battle, this unit gains plus 5k power. And then, on the last one, when this unit attack hits, you pay the cost. If you do, search your deck for a grade 1 card, call it to rearguard, and you shuffle your deck. So, I think the main thing you want to look at is that he gains 5k power, so he's at base 14 as long as you have 3 grade 1 cards in the drop zone. That's amazing. Also, his second ability is in the drop zone, Generation Break 1, he's a grade 1 in the drop zone, so that helps with Ritual, of course. Really good. He helps with this deck a lot. Lastly, you play 3 copies of Sturdy Knight Grosvenor. I think that's how you pronounce it. He is also amazing. He's like whole. You can stack 3k because whenever a card is placed on rearguard, as long as it's lower grade than him, you gain plus 3k. So again, if you use Luard Strike skill to call 2 grade 1s from the deck, he gains plus 6k immediately. So it's a 15k base effectively, and that's really, really good. Next, you play 3 copies of Luard Diablo. So Luard Diablo's Generation Break 2 ability is when you're paying the cost for a stride. If a G unit with Blaster in its card name would stride, cards in your hand gain grade plus 3, which means you can stride for free as long as it's just striding into a Blaster unit, which is really, really good. Also, during your turn, when your unit named Dark Dragon Phantom Blaster Diablo strides, choose one of your opponent's rearguards and retire it. So that helps with Phantom Blaster Diablo's skill to force your opponent to retire and then them not being able to guard. So yeah, he's really good. And then we play 4 Dragheart Luard. His strike skill is counterblast 1, choose one of your rearguards, retire it, and then you call 2 grey ones from your deck. That's really, really good. Retire 1 to call 2. That's fantastic, of course. Then his Ritual Tree ability is not a generation break. Choose 2 normal units, cannot be trigger units, they only can be normal units. Put them at the bottom of your deck, and at the beginning of your right phase, you may pay the cost. You may strike for free. So that's amazing. You can strike for free. Cards on your hand don't decrease. So that is just really, really helps with your hand size. One thing to be noted though, you cannot use his Ritual Tree on the same turn where you ride him, so you can only use it once. It's at least one turn after you ride him. So yeah, just something to be noted there. And in terms of rulings, alright, let's move on to the strides here. I play 1 copy of Carnivore Dragon. So once per turn during your main phase, is X skill of course. Choose one of your rearguards, retire it. Your opponent chooses 2 of his or 4 rearguards and retires them. If they do not, choose 3 units in your front row and they gain plus 4k. So I think one of the best trial deck strides ever. He's just amazing. He is included in the Luard trial deck. Next, we run 2 copies of Dark Dragon Phantom Blaster Diablo, the most badass looking card ever. Counterblast 1 and choose a face down copy of himself from your G zone and turn it face up. If the number of face up cards in your G zone is 2 or more, basically Generation Break 2, he gains 10k 1 crit, and then choose 3 of your rearguards and retire them. When he attacks a Vanguard, if you paid the cost, your opponent has to choose 2 of his server rearguards and retires them. If they do not, they cannot guard. So basically, they have to have 2 or more rearguards to fulfill the requirements for his skill. If not, they cannot guard, and they can only generation guard for his attack. Next, we run 3 copies of Dark Dragon Spectral Blaster Diablo. So this card is amazing. Soul Blast 1 and choose a face down card from your G zone and turn it face up. Doesn't have to be himself. And then choose one of your rearguards and retire it. Until end of turn, this unit gains the ability. Once per turn. Generation Break 3. Counterblast 2 and choose 2 of your rearguards and retire them. At the end of the battle, he attacked the Vanguard. He stands and he gains -2 drive. And then if you have a hard card with Diablo in his name, you call grade 1 from your deck. Fantastic. Just run 3 of course, don't need to run too many. 4 copies of Drag Driver Luard, fantastic late game card. Ritual Tree, Soul Blast 1 and choose a face down card from your G zone and turn it face up. Again, doesn't have to be himself. If you do search your deck for the same number of grade 1 copies, grade 1 cards as equal to the number of face up cards named Drag Driver Luard in your G zone. So basically, if you have 3 face up copies of Luard in the G zone, you call 3 cards from your deck. You call them to rearguard, and then they gain plus 1k for each grade 1 card in your drop zone until end of turn. So that is fantastic late game card, of course, like I said. 4 copies, he's just fantastic, right? I find myself playing him late game more than anything else, which is why I said he's a good late game card. Early game, go for something like Spectral Blaster Diablo, get some freestanding pressure off. Your first strike, maybe use Carnivore Dragon or Geyser. Speaking of Orgaiser, I run 2 copies of him. Counterblast 1, Soul Blast 1, flip a copy of himself face up, choose 2 of your rearguards, retire them. When you attack the Vanguard, you may pay the cost. If you do, reveal 2 cards on top of your deck. This unit gains plus 5k power for each grade 1 or less card revealed with this effect, and then add them to your hand. Really good. Basically a draw 2 and a plus 10 if you are revealing grade 1s. So that's it for this Luard Diablo deck profile, guys. I hope you enjoyed the deck profile and it helps you in some way. I'm sorry if my mic sounds a bit fuzzy. I'll try and work on that. Also, sorry for not uploading for a really long time. I did not expect certain events to take up a lot of my time recently, but I'll try and get as many videos out as possible in the next few weeks. And yeah, keep subscribed, tell your friends about it, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.